Hello and welcome to a new series of videos where I'm going to be taking down this big 12x8 shed that's behind me and building a new one to replace it. We moved into this property last year and the shed that we inherited is way past its best. It's beyond repair in my opinion, and we need somewhere to store our garden tools, our lawn mower, cans of paint, you know, the usual stuff. So first I'll show you the problems with the current shed. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell on camera, but the whole shed is leaning to the left, and that worries me slightly because I don't know what foundation this shed has been built on and whether I'll be able to reuse it for the new shed. I might need to do some groundworks first. You can see that the shiplap cladding has kind of skewed away from the frame of the shed over time, presumably because it's not sitting on level ground. The door has also sagged, as you can see, and that's why on the left over here there's probably a 40mm gap, and on the right there's probably a 5mm gap, and the whole door scrapes on the floor as you open it. Inside you'll see that the floor is rotten through. There are signs of woodworm in both the exterior cladding and also on the interior battens. This is the bottom rail that supports the window, and you can see it's rotten through. There are holes in the floor, holes in the walls, and signs of roof leaks too. There seems to be a lot of spider activity and even an old bird's nest, which fortunately is no longer in use. The stuff that's inside is partly ours and partly stuff that's been left by the previous occupants, and the first job is to get all of this cleared. As I'm clearing stuff away, now seems like a good time to talk about what I'm going to replace the shed with. I'm going to build a shed from scratch rather than buying a prefabricated one, and there are a few reasons for that. One, I want it to last as long as possible, so I want to build it with good quality tannalized pressure treated wood. Two, I can make it exactly how I want it to be, so it's bespoke to our needs. And three, I fancied the project as I had a few weeks off work at my day job, so I had plenty of time to get on with it. It's worth noting that none of those reasons are cost related, and that's because usually it will work out cheaper to buy a prefabricated shed. Having said that, I am going to keep costs down as much as possible, and I'm aiming to build it for about the same cost, if not less, than a prefabricated shed. I have already planned the build and priced up everything, but I'll talk about that in a future episode of the series. Oh, I just fell through the floor. So the shed's cleared, it took about 3 hours, and I've stored everything in our sunroom, which is basically a lean-to that's attached to our house, which we don't really use, and eventually it's going to get demolished, so it's a perfect opportunity to store all of this stuff in there. Now it's on to demolishing, and I'm actually going to start by taking up the floor just because I'm keen to see what's underneath here, because that way I can sort out what I need to buy in order to make a start on the foundations hopefully tomorrow. I used a crowbar to lift the boards, and as expected, what I found beneath the shed was not what I'd hoped for. This shed has basically been built onto a few bricks and blocks, one at each corner and a couple in the middle, and there were no signs of hardcore or a sand and cement mix beneath or around those blocks. They were literally just placed into the soil with the floor joists of the shed on top of them, so it's not surprising that over time the ground has obviously moved and the shed developed its lean. This meant that I'd need to do some groundworks to make a suitable foundation for my new shed to sit on. One thing I did find beneath the shed though was several panes of glass. I have no idea why, I guess whoever put the shed up just wanted to get rid of them. Next I could remove this bench, which was made up of a couple of old hollow core doors screwed down onto a 4x2. And then I could start demolishing the shed, starting with the door. It made sense to try dismantling the roof next, although I didn't get very far with that. I started to remove the trim battens around the edge, and then I got onto the roof, but it didn't feel like it would support my weight. It was okay at the edges, but it didn't feel safe to stand anywhere near the middle. I started to try and remove the roof felt, but it was held in place with so many clout nails that it just felt like it would be too long a process. There were also several battens on the roof nailed through into the ceiling joists beneath, and as I couldn't reach them safely from a ladder or climb onto the roof, it started to feel like this wouldn't be a one-man job. So I called for some help and a second opinion. I made a quick call to my brother Alan, and while waiting for him to arrive, I started removing some of the cladding from the walls. I didn't want to remove too much of the cladding though, as that would affect the structural integrity of the frame, so I did as much as I felt comfortable with until Alan arrived. Here's Keith. So we started chatting it through and we came up with two options. One was to cut into the roof from below to remove the roof in sections. A reciprocating saw and eye protection and mask seemed to be the best way to do that, but I don't have a reciprocating saw, so I'd need to use a circular saw, and cutting through the roof felt and possibly some clout nails would almost certainly ruin the blade. The second option was probably not the safest of options though. That would involve moving this water butt out of the way, removing all of the cladding off the two longer walls, and then pushing the entire structure over so that it landed on the ground over here. You can probably already guess which option we went for. So I removed the rest of the cladding along the long walls while Alan stabilised the frame to stop it from tumbling over. I was mainly worried for the greenhouse next to it, as that's the way that the shed was leaning. We did consider temporarily bracing it with some timber, but Alan seemed confident to hold it up while I removed the final bits, so that's what we did. Then I removed the window, and then it was on to the fun part. Right, go through the gate, go through the gate. That kind of works. Probably not the safest of methods and not one that I would recommend, but sometimes you have to do the best you can with the tools that you have available to get the job done. At this point we manoeuvred the roof so it was leaning up against the fence, and I made some relief cuts through the joists with a circular saw so that we could then kind of fold it over the fence. Really, we're just trying to break this down into more manageable sized pieces. It's now the day after we demolished the shed, and far less glorious weather today, as you can tell. And last night we, as in myself and Ria, my other half, had a bit of a revelation that is going to change the course of this project. We absolutely love these views at the top of our garden overlooking the fields, especially when the sun sets in the evenings. And with the old shed out of the way, suddenly these views seemed even more overwhelming, and it seemed like a bit of a shame to erect a shed in the same place when instead we could use that area for chilling out in the evening and enjoying the views. One day I'd like to get a hammock, and that area just seemed like the perfect place to put it. After giving it some thought, we realised that getting rid of the greenhouse and building the new shed there instead would be the best option, as not only do we not really use the greenhouse other than as a bit of a dumping ground, but also it has a ready-made concrete foundation around the perimeter that I can utilise to support the new shed. So I immediately listed it on Facebook Marketplace as available to anyone who wanted to come over and disassemble it and take it away. I got loads of interest, and a couple of guys came over this morning and took it away. So now, as you can see, it's gone. I'll probably still need to do some groundworks to support the base of the shed, but it'll be minimal compared to what I would have had to do in the area where the old shed was. So I got the area cleaned up as much as possible, and here's a closer look at what the shed was built on. Basically a combination of bricks, broken blocks and some old paving tiles just pushed into the ground, which is just not appropriate to support a shed. A lot of the floor joists were also in direct contact with the ground, and you can see here that they are rotten through. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please join me for part 2, where I'll be working on making the floor for the shed, and I'll leave a link to that in the description box below as soon as it's available. If you're interested in taking a look around the rest of my house and garden, I have a house tour video, which is a Patreon exclusive video, along with some other exclusive content where we cover some of the work that we're doing to the property. There'll be a link to my Patreon page in the description box below where you can help to support the channel. And on Patreon you can also get early access to my videos before they're available on YouTube, free project plans and cut lists, and a name credit at the end of my videos. Please subscribe to my channel for more weekly woodworking videos, and thanks for watching.